since we now know that little baby Pan has not only managed to shit herself in the previous episode, but was also able to channel her energy and fly as well. But as cute as that episode was, we now move on to a more intense setting as we travel to an unknown planet encountering strange beings and settings. Welcome Dragon Ball fans to my official Dragon Ball Super episode 44 review entitled The Seal of Planet Potaufeu, Secret of the Unleashed Superhuman Water. I apologize if I couldn't pronounce the planet's name correctly, leading into next week's episode of episode 45, which is going to become more interesting as we carry on forward. Now, before I go any further in this review, a fair warning that this video will contain loads of spoilers, so if you don't want anything ruined for you, simply fast forward the video, go watch the episode and come back so we can talk more Dragon Ball Super. Don't cry in the comments below about being spoiled by the thumbnail or any of that, because nothing is being shown or said that you don't already know. The translations to this episode, in case you guys are wondering how I was able to pick up the dialogue prior to the subs coming out, was translated by none other than Herbs98 on Twitter. As always, he provides us with the translations first, so thank you, sir. The subs will be out tomorrow morning. Kiss Anime, AnimeRush.tv. Watch it, enjoy it. What made this episode for me, honestly, was the inclusion of both Goten and Trunks in the episode, finally having a role and doing something relevant for a change. I mean, I was worrying about these two for quite some time, given the fact that they played a huge role in Dragon Ball Z, but they hardly did anything in Dragon Ball Super, so I was really relieved to see them come back once again. Now, to summarize this very shortly before I get into my breakdown review coming in about an hour or so, where I explain more of the episode and interact with your comments and whatnot, Monaka is actually featured once again in this episode, and not for nothing, but what actually made this episode really funny was the fact that there was a scene where Monaka arrives to deliver some goods to Bulma, and Goten and Trunks realize that, you know, Monaka's spaceship is around, so they start playing around inside the spaceship, and Trunks decides to find like a little sword in there, which was very, very reminiscent to how future Trunks had his sword. Even though it's not the same sword, we see Trunks playing around with the sword, hinting at future Trunks' return June 12th. Now, what's really funny here is, you know, Trunks simply decides to go inside the truck, and the boys are playing around. Bulma's home. She's working on an experiment since nobody else is around, and what's funny here is Monaka is always being used as some sort of like a test dummy for something. So Bulma's testing out her experiment not long before Monaka has to leave, and of course, while he leaves, we have Goten and Trunks who are still in the back of his truck, and as Monaka takes off, those two are locked in the back of the truck, which is pretty funny because Monaka is obviously going to deliver more goods, and when he gets to the planet in which case he is supposed to deliver all his goods at, you know, Monaka opens up the back of his truck, and we get to see, you know, Goten and Trunks, they're frozen. I mean, obviously, because traveling through space by themselves without anyone knowing that they were gone in the first place. So we see Monaka's there, and then they bump into like this panda-looking character, in which case ultimately gets him captured alongside Goten, Trunks, and Monaka as well. And Bulma finds out that Goten and Trunks were missing, and they ended up leaving on Monaka's ship, of course thanks to Capsule Corp's security cameras, which caught the boys inside the ship. And Bulma tries to convince Draco to go alongside with them, and Draco ultimately tells her it's considered a waste of time, but it turns out that he is currently pursuing a criminal who also happens to be invading the same planet that Monaka is going on. So of course Vegeta travels alongside with him, and as the episode carries on, again I will discuss more of this in the breakdown, we get to see Vegeta arrive. He protects Trunks. He's actually fighting off the villains that are opposing the threat towards Monaka, Goten, and Trunks. And then that's when something very interesting happens. Now, one of the liquefied, you know, henchmen, you know, completely absorbs and consumes Vegeta's body and then spits him right back out. And then right before Vegeta's very eyes, you know, we see a menacing hologram appear. It is actually a liquidated version of Vegeta, which happens to be one of the henchmen that was currently trying to swallow up Vegeta's body and stuff with that, you know, purple-like liquid. And it actually turns out that, you know, Vegeta was cloned via this purple liquid, and the liquid reforms to copy of Vegeta. So we don't know if this liquefied henchman is able to copy all of Vegeta's moves, if he's able to copy his transformations and stuff. But we see, you know, prior to that, we see Goku. He says that his powers are coming back to normal on King Kai's planet. He's training. He's trying to get everything back into the flow of things, of course, in which he will be appearing in next week's episode, fighting off the liquefied version of Vegeta, which, again, is pretty cool. More action in this episode than anything else. And, of course, we're going to be seeing Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks in next week's episode as well. So a lots of awesome things being hinted there. But let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below about this episode. Again, for me, I enjoyed this episode a lot more than last week's, although there was, you know, just a bit more action in this one. I feel as if involving Goten and Trunks was needed because those kids weren't getting any time at all. So leave your thoughts down below as to your overall thoughts and opinions on Vegeta being copied and having a liquefied version of himself fighting off Goku in next week's episode, and your overall thoughts on this week's episode. If you guys had to compare last week's episode to this one, which one would you guys prefer and why? Comment down below and let me know. Once again, guys, thank you all for watching. If you guys are Dragon Ball fans, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. That way, guys, don't miss a single Dragon Ball video update. If you guys enjoyed, smash that like button, leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Tune in for the breakdown review, guys, and I'll be seeing you all in the next update. Take it easy, guys. Peace.